In discussions about the South China Sea dispute, we often hear about China claiming nearly the entire strategically located region. We also very often hear about rival claimants, nations such as the Philippines and Vietnam, who dispute China's claims. International law says that these smaller nations rightfully own the portion of the sea that lies along their coasts, so they often cry afoul of China's claims to their territory. But there's one country with claims to the South China Sea that we don't really hear from in this context anymore, and that country is Brunei. Brunei is situated on the northwestern coast of the island of Borneo, and its location on the southern end of the South China Sea means that Brunei can lawfully claim the 200 nautical miles of the sea off its coasts as its exclusive economic zone. But in sharp contrast to the vocal governments in Hanoi, Manila, and elsewhere, Brunei has been virtually silent in recent years about its claims to the South China Sea, and about the fact that China's claims infringe on its exclusive economic zone. There's a growing body of evidence showing that Brunei's silence is in large part because China, in recent years, has been pumping billions of dollars worth of investment into Brunei. The Asia Times recently reported that total consolidated Chinese investment in Brunei is now estimated at around $6 billion and scheduled to rise. For a nation as small as Brunei, this is a substantial amount of money, and it's coming at a time when the oil reserves that have long been the main economic lifeline of Brunei are dwindling. Chinese investment has helped build local infrastructure of all kinds in Brunei, and also a major oil refinery. China's also helping Brunei expand its manufacturing and improve its connectivity. And then, in line with China's increasing focus on controlling ports in the region, Beijing is now also in joint control of Brunei's largest container terminal. So China has essentially bought Brunei. And as a result, Brunei is almost entirely reticent now about the boiling disputes in the South China Sea. The leadership has actually refrained from articulating anything that could be viewed as even mildly critical of Beijing. And they've even gone so far as to clamp down on their domestic media, making it illegal for the press there in Brunei to even voice concerns about China's slow-motion takeover of the country. Trumpet Editor-in-Chief Gerald Fleury has said that China's takeover of the strategic South China Sea is steering the world toward war. In our July 2016 issue of the Philadelphia Trumpet, he wrote, "Since Japan's defeat in World War II, America has protected this vital trade route and brought peace to this part of the world. Now the American military is retreating, and other great powers are coming in to fill the vacuum. China is intimidating the nations of Southeast Asia into submission to its will. Everything is headed in the direction of war." Mr. Fleury's assessment of the South China Sea situation is based on Bible prophecy. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 52, God warns the nations of Israel that if they reject him, he would hand control over the world's strategic sea gates to their enemies. Mr. Fleury explained that this warning is not just for ancient peoples. He wrote, "It is a prophecy for the modern-day descendants of Israel. Two nations in particular represent Israel in this end time, America and Britain." The fact that China has now bought Brunei's silence and its compliance, and China's broader ongoing takeover of the South China Sea, shows that this prophecy is now in the process of being fulfilled. To understand the details of this prophecy, and to understand the deep hope that is tied to it, please order a free copy of Mr. Fleury's book, Ezekiel, the End Time Prophet.